I'm Sam, and today, as you can see behind me, we have something rather special. We have the Zenvo TSR-S, which is their sort of track-focused road car. Pretty mad. And with me today, I have Alberto, who's going to come in a second, who is director of production and test driver. And we're going to have a little look around the car. Going to see all about it. I had Trolls on the podcast, who is the CEO, boss man, engineer. Go up there and you can see the interview we did a while back, and we talk about all of the tech and the process and his journey and all that sort of stuff. It's quite interesting. Gonna have a little look around the car. I'm gonna take it for a drive and see what this beast is all about. So here we have Alberto. I'm gonna turn this around. Let's do a little walk around of the car and explain basic sort of specs, interesting bits and stuff like that.
So as you said, this is our flagship model, our track focused yet approved road legal version, TSR-S. So it's 1177 horsepower, it's 1200 newton meters of torque, and it's 1450 kilos with a 0 to 60 of 2.8 seconds.
Is it what's the engine?
The engine's a 5.8 litre twin supercharged V8.
Right.
Which is developed and built in-house.
Full carbon bodywork?
Yeah, so everything you see is carbon and also produced in-house. We have a carbon team of 5 guys which work extremely hard. Even the painted blue here, that's all carbon. Right, let's have a little dig in. We have many options with the carbon fibre, so we can do our own custom weave patterns. There's our white car that we were showing at Goodwood. We had our company hexagons within the weave. We could, put your name.
Oh, within the weave?
Yeah, within the weave. So we can put your name down there, company logos. Doing it all in-house has given us, a huge range. Possibilities are almost endless. Yeah, you can just customise it to exactly. We make our own carbon fibre wheels now. So that's a 21 inch at 6.5 kilos on the front, which I don't know anyone that's. What's that a saving of over a sort of? Let's say these, for example. Say roughly these are 10 kilos. So
okay,
yeah,
that's
3.5 kilos, which is a massive amount on.
And do you really feel that?
Yeah,
driving it.
Yeah, it's massive bolt-on performance. What
would you say is the most sort of? Is that kind of I guess it's unsprung mass. So it's all sorts of things like suspension.
That unsprung mass would be bang for your buck. Would be the most.
Yeah, and is that sort of, I guess, responsiveness?
Yeah,
just
absolutely everything. Yeah, responsiveness, acceleration, braking, absolutely everything. Agility. Yeah, it's
sweet.
I'll let you
have a little dive in there. Have a look inside. So everything here is developed by you guys?
Yeah, right. So the only thing we haven't developed is the iPad. So we optioned for the iPad because this is our track focused vehicle. We have a track app on the iPad, so you can compare data with another Zenvo driver or even a driver instructor.
Okay.
That was the best solution for us at the time, and it works really well. You can't get any better than Google Maps or Apple Maps. Yeah, it's pretty neat that you can take that out, plug it in, it connects to the Bluetooth audio, and then you can have your maps, music, whatever on that, and then all of your car related stuff is on here. So everything else, even all the switch gear, the climate control, you'll never see that anywhere. The driver dash display with the software, that's all our own. So we don't use that from anybody else. And then you'll notice you can't see backwards from inside, so there's a rear-facing camera that comes up on there. We're going to open up the back. Alberto's going to show me how it's done. The pins here. Oh wow. Roll back, there's another place for the pin, so you can lock the wing in its rear position. Ah, this is probably a point that everyone notices about this car, the crazy tilting centripetal wing. Oh wow. This is when you really get to appreciate all of the carbon and how it's all, it's so much carbon. How on earth did you make that line up? Any piece of carbon, you can change the weave. The inlet manifold we make in-house as well. So we do like our fragmented carbon look. You can have any panel in any kind of carbon. It exists and you can have it. Very cool, very cool. And pretty big tyres. What are these? 325? They are on the rear, yeah. What a guess. 325s and 245s in the front. Well, I guess the important bit is going for a drive. See what it's like.
Okay, I'm in the car for the first time by myself, just had a little sort of pre-go. The first things you notice are the noise. You start it up, okay, I'm a left-hand driver in the UK, very easy to get through. Wow, okay. It's always that thing when you're driving with someone else in the car, it takes a little bit of time to get used to it, but immediately this car is drawing me in. I've got to set my seating position up nice and close. It's got this little steering wheel. When you have a look around the cabin, everything is this lovely carbon fiber everywhere. The gearbox is this, it's a single clutch, but it's been developed by Zenvo. Definitely have a listen to the podcast I did with Trolls. It talks about all the engineering and all of the work that's gone into the car. We have 3 power modes on this flat plane crank, twin scroll supercharged V8. I think it's like 1200 and something horsepower. I'll put the number up. But we have 3 power modes, sort of low power mode, then IQ, which is like an intelligent power mode, and essentially, if you've got grip, it will give you more power. So it will give you 1200 horsepower if you've got the grip. Otherwise, it won't. So that, I think, is that's what I'm talking to Alberto, that is the mode that he drives around in most of the time, because it essentially sort of does everything. And the gearbox has 2 settings. Race and normal. I've got it in race. It gives you a bit more of a blip on the downshift. Everyone that sees the car is like, what on earth is that? You do not see many Zenvos. And you get the pops and bangs out of the exhaust. Like every gear shift. If you're sort of mooching around, it's fine, the gearbox works okay, and I think calibrating that is really tricky, but because it's a single clutch, it's okay. It sort of lurches a little bit, but when you start going up to speed, let's say sort of 60 miles an hour, the gear shifts get quicker, they're just like, the gears just bang in, and you get, for a car that's got paddles, you get a lot of smiles and a lot of involvement from the paddle shift. Whereas a lot of cars now, like, I don't know, your Porsche, it's just like boom, 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 boom. You sort of forget when you're driving around. This car starts at €1.5 million. I think their plan is to make 5 a year, or, you know, they can make 5 a year. Everybody is looking like, what the hell are you driving? What's the steering like? It's a hydraulically assisted steering. So it's a light setup. Everything in this car is about light. The sort of design and ethos of this car is more like a GT3 RS than a 911 Turbo. So it's designed to be raw, involving, draw you in, and go pretty damn fast. Suspension, low speed, it's okay. Quite sort of like, it's not I would say massively jiggly, but you feel all the bumps and you're very sort of, I don't know. It's okay. But once you get up to a sort of, it's almost like a boat, getting up to plane, like so 60 miles an hour, that sort of speed, country road type situation, it really, everything starts to work, all sorts of drawn in. Yeah. Interior wise, they've opted for an iPad. So we've got an iPad Pro and it's clipped in, so you could update that, change that, and that will do your music and anything. It's connected to Bluetooth basically. They're developing an app at the moment to bring car data in, but at the moment I've got my nav up, so I've got Waze up on here, which is what you would use in any car now. You'd have CarPlay or Android Auto, so I've got Waze up, and I can put Spotify, play my tunes, a way better screen than you will find in any car, and won't get outdated. I think some people would prefer to have it built in, but as soon as you design it to be built in, you don't have this updatability and responsiveness. And then we get to a national speed limit. And when it's warm, this car shoots massive flames out the back. What's it like driving faster? Brakes? Great. As you can see, it's putting a massive smile on my face. Oh, the dash in front, we've got 2 modes. So for the gearbox, race, and what's the normal one called? Road. Road smooths everything out a little bit, but our display switches between 2 different modes when you press it. I'm driving it around in race and IQ. I'm going to now try the other power mode. So we've got max power, IQ. Okay, so we've got IQ and max. Max is 1200 horsepower. It's not on your own. You've still got the traction control systems. You can turn the traction control off and then everything off. So it's like a 2-stage. If you turn traction control off, you can you can do, if you're on the track, and I guess on the road as well, you can do a bit of sliding and stuff like that, but the car will move around, but ultimately still retain a bit of control there if you just keep a little bit of assistance in. I don't know whether you can hear me very well in here, but it is a fun thing. This is a fun car. One thing that stood out when you're walking around the car and looking under and just poking everywhere is actually the build quality and all the carbon work and the paint work. It is exceptional. They've really spent the time and they've got all the knowledge. They do their own carbon wheels that you can have, this car doesn't have. Everything lines up. There's no defects in the carbon anywhere. It just looks lovely. I feel like I'm in a crazy it's just a mad thing. Comparing this, the fastest thing I've driven recently would have been my 812, and that you can't really put power down in that much. It will take it, but you're aware. I would love to try this car with some space and put it in one of the looser traction control modes. I'm not going to do it on the road. It's not my car and it's very expensive. But I would like to see what the full power, just what that will be like. They limit the torque in the different gears, so I don't think you get full power, full torque till maybe 4th, because otherwise you're just burning the rubber. But as a thing to drive, it's very involving. The gear shifts. Puts a smile on your face. What else have we got around the interior? So you can see we've got the Zenvo have historically done the driver zone in one colour and the passenger in a darker colour. So in this car we've got the driver zone in a blue. You can have it trimmed in leather. Whatever you like, they will do, because they're only making a small number of cars and they can absolutely tailor it to you. Who's the buyer of this car? I think someone that's probably got a few cars, tried a bunch of different stuff, and is looking for quite a raw on-road experience. The thing that really stood out to me, speaking to Trolls on the podcast, was how much of a petrol head he is, and how much he loves involving cars and raw driving, and that has been the aim. This is not meant to be, just take you down the road as fast as possible in the most comfort. This is meant to be, I'm cruising along at 40 miles an hour and I can feel everything through the steering wheel. I've got all the noises, I've got the gear shift bangs, everything's coming through. It's a cool thing. It's a cool thing. Definitely hit them up. Get in touch if this is something that might pique your interest. You're unlikely to see another Zenvo on the road. The wing is just pretty fun. The rear view here is a camera, which actually works quite well, because then it doubles as they've got it set up at the moment so that on the edge you can see the back of the car. So you can use it as your rear view when you're reversing. and then a rear view now, obviously I can't see back through there. So many of these hypercars and sports cars and stuff nowadays, your rear view visibility is awful, but this is not like that at all. First impressions, and you know, I haven't had a ton of time, I haven't driven it on track. I reckon this is a weapon on track. I think it will be an absolute beast, and the paddle shift and everything will come into its own, just a whip crack, like boom, 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 boom. It's time now to sort of turn around, head back to base, hand over the car. I have enjoyed this quite a lot. It is a cool thing, and everybody's like, you drive past anyone, they're just like, what the hell is that? I'm gonna go down here and try and turn around. Using the gearbox at low speed, it requires a bit of knowledge and movement around, so I think that's something that you'd have more refinement in a double clutch, so it's a bit of learning how it works and all that, but it's fine, just requires a little bit of learning, and I'm sure if you drove it more, you'd get to use it. But I guess this is the nature of having this system. When you're up and on it, it is so intense and involving, but then at low speeds, the flip side of that is it's a little bit trickier to use. It's not difficult, just requires a little bit of learning. I need to put it into road, which is probably helpful rather than race, Sam. I've got there. When you drive faster, if you drive with the windows down, you forget how loud those whip cracks are. They are. Oh, it turns in. When you start going a bit faster, it's so good. You get this like when you change down. It's one of those cars that the faster you go, you get drawn in. You feel like, okay, compared to my 812, this is obviously a very different price bracket, but just layout of car, that car, you're getting cruised down the road. This, the faster you go, the more you're like, yes, 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 go faster, go faster, go faster. And then the gear shifts are amazing. And a little crack of the window. Amazing. Yeah, wow, okay, having driven that fast there, it's pretty wicked. I think it's pretty fun. And a lot of the enjoyment does come from the gearbox. So making it smoother and stuff like that, no, keep it like this. It's a bit, you know, it's not as livable, but then again, it's a hypercar. This is meant to put a smile on your face, and as you can see, I'm actually getting a bit of an ache from the amount of smiling I'm doing. It's not a bad gig, this. I'm having a lot of fun. I've been trying to convince them to let me have a go, or even a passenger ride on track, because I reckon it's going to be quite something. But we'll see, maybe that'll happen in the future. But up until now, just a short 20-minute, 30-minute drive by myself on some twisty roads is enough to provide a lot of enjoyment and a memory that will implant itself in my head. Yeah, thanks Zenvo for letting me have a drive. Won't be long, I'll be back at base, a little bit of a wrap up, and then that'll be it. Wow, okay. driving a car by yourself, this is something, I don't think I didn't drive any faster or anything like that, but just not having anyone else in the car really lets you kind of tune in with your thoughts. And what are my thoughts of the TSR-S? It's awesome. It's actually awesome. The gearbox, the single clutchness of it is, when you get up to speed, adds so much drama. You put the windows down and it's just like boom, 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 everything. When you shooting flames out the back, it's a car that sucks you in. And I know that they've tried to, like really tried to, the guys at Zenvo are proper petrol heads, to make it involving at all speeds, and it's fun. 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. I'm sure it'd be fun at 150 miles an hour. But loads of cars sort of go away from that as the performance goes up, whereas this is just crazy involving, really unique. Yeah, it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing. The iPad, some people are sort of 50-50 on whether they like that in use. Having a super modern, like Apple product effectively, as your nav and stuff like that is brilliant. It works so well, better than any nav system I've used in a car ever. And I think that personally, I would not want it built in. I wouldn't want anything like that. It will update. It's like using your phone. I connect my phone to the iPad. I would possibly like maybe an option to mount my phone. I don't know. The iPad worked exceptionally well. So good, so good. What an experience. Thank you very much to Zenvo, and see you guys in the next video.